So guys, obviously this film's a humongous undertaking. What was the most difficult aspect, kind of day one starting it aspect?
Day one starting it.
Yeah. Making sure we had the script where we needed it. I mean, that was really, it was a sprint to the start date because you have all these actors and we're not going to move the schedule around because, they're all going to disappear because everybody's got a lot of work to do. So it was really focusing intensely on the script to make sure it was where we needed it to be. In
the short footage I saw, I absolutely loved Ebony Moore in the Black Order, and I swore I could recognise his voice. Can you say who it is?
Sure.
Tom Von Lawler, Irish actor, yes.
That's very cool.
Very well-known Irish actor, yeah.
Yeah. And are there any other interesting voices in the Black Order?
There are. Kerry Coons is Proxima Midnight, and you may know her from season 3 of Fargo or The Leftovers. Terry played
Terry Notary.
Terry Notary
but
played
not so much a voice. You wouldn't necessarily.
He did voice the character, but his movement. He's one of the most gifted movement specialists in the world right now. Played the character we're calling Cull Obsidian, who was in the books known as Black Dwarf. So it's it's kind of an all-star cast of baddies.
Yeah. Obviously, with all the Marvel films, there's a lot of interesting things like post-credit scenes, which isn't anything we know or can talk about at the minute. But I was wondering, is there a difference in including them when there's a film coming next year that kind of picks up where this one leaves off? And so did you consider not having any, or the way you approach them?
It's hard to comment on that, again, because we don't want to sort of speak to the experience too specifically, but yeah.
It's certainly something you consider, but like Ant said, we wrote a letter begging the fans not to spoil the movie for each other, so we don't want to spoil it for them.
Sure. Speaking of the fans, I mean, again, this isn't something. it's quite a weird interview, having not seen all of it. But what sort of Easter eggs and references should fans be looking for? I mean, is there a lot of callbacks to previous Marvel films? Some sort of deep-cut Marvel comic book references?
There's always that, as part of the layering process. And everybody on the crew is really aware of Marvel mythology, and they're complicit in layering in Easter eggs. I would say also that Arrested Development fans should keep their eyes open.
Were there any characters you wanted to include that you kind of had to let fall by the wayside just because there were so many?
Other than Hawkeye, no, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, listen, we sat down and found a way to work everybody. We have 2 movies that we're working with, so we figured out a way to bring everybody that we wanted to bring into the storytelling. I think in ways that felt satisfying to us, and so we're happy with who we got to work with.
Speaking of some of the heroes who aren't featured too prominently, how does it feed into Ant-Man? I know it's not a film you guys worked on, but I mean, how does it work if Infinity War ends? Is Ant-Man just off doing his own thing at the same time?
Well, it's always Civil War has a big impact on everything to follow it, and the events of Civil War. In that movie, there are characters who are on the wrong side of the government, the U.S. government. And so the audience will get to see how everyone responded to being on the wrong side and what decisions they made that allowed them to move forward in their lives.
And I guess my final question, if you could describe Infinity War in 3 words, what would they be?
Oh my gosh.
I'd say intense.
Terrifying.
And fun.
Yeah.